Welcome everyone, this is Zozo Stockwatch, and here's your Stockwatch list for June 13th, Tuesday. And here's some news that happened after the bell. Some insider purchases. PFNX direct to purchase 10K shares. CGIX direct to purchase 100,000 shares. MRAM Form 13G. So they have a 5.2% stake in the name. That's MRAM. Merck had news after the bell, and that actually dropped the stock down on MRK. So you can see we had this big flash down on Merck, and then it bounced back, but it's still down a bit in the after hours. Let's see, what else did we have? Silica SLCA had some news after the bell. Can read that right there. Let's see. ANIP filed Form S3, 350 million mixed shelf. SAIC had earnings out after the bell. We had a 10% ownership stake in RTMB right here. CVCO beat earnings and beats on revenue after the bell. Yelp was up in after hours, YELP. Let's see, MNK Form 4, Executive Vice President purchased 1,000 shares. MNK Form 4, Senior Vice President purchased 1,550 shares. Halliburton names new Chief Financial Officer, HAL. And XLRN dropped in after hours. Let's take a look at that one. They had news. Acceleron announces top-line results from DART Phase 2 study. And let's see, XLRN, and there's your drop. Let's see. Got down to about $24 a share, and now it's trading 26, so nice bounce in that name, but it did drop, and as you can see here, it was down at one point, down $5 a share. APOG, they closed an acquisition. IMAX announces new share repurchase program and cost reduction initiative on IMAX. So IMAX $200 million share repurchase program. So that came out after the bell on IMAX, and that stock has been down a lot on IMAX. IGT cross licensing agreement. Parker Driller had PKD. Parker Drilling had some news. Let's see, what else was there? STRM earnings per share in line, revenue miss on STRM. JetBlue had some news after the bell. Revenue passenger miles up 3.8% year over year. Just scroll through some of these. DRAM Form 4 CEO purchased 77,000 shares on DRAM. Okay, that's this one right here. And he purchased them, I think he got them for $1, right? If I'm reading that right, on DRAM. Let me see if there was any action in DRAM. There was action in DRM today, so it did pop up all the way to 310, and then it's currently was trading at the close 289 on DRAM. So maybe keep your eye on that one tomorrow with that purchase by the CEO. And I'm going to have a complete watch list in a few seconds. MGNX 13G filed by Boxer Capital, 5.5% stake on MGNX. And anybody else? You can read some of these for yourself. I'm going kind of slow on them so you can read them. And then OLII CEO was just on Kramer Show, was just on CIE doing a reverse split, 1 for 15. I believe it's going to be June 23rd on CIE for the reverse split. All right, so that's some of the news that, SBSI Form 8K. All right, so that's some of the news that's out after the bell. And we'll get this out of the way. Now, I just want to make you aware, coming up, we have the FOMC meeting begins on Tuesday. All right, and we have the API crude oil data coming out on Tuesday. Tuesday night you have some China numbers coming out, economic numbers coming out from China. But the big day this week is FOMC meeting announcement, and then the presser at 2:30 p.m. with Janet Yellen. Let's see what earnings are for tomorrow. See, aftermarket, BPMX, H&R Block, HRB, and CPST. So these are your earnings after hours tomorrow. Doesn't look like there's no earnings tomorrow before the bell, really. All right, so just be aware that if you're you have 4:30 API crude numbers coming out, FOMC starts, and then the big day is Wednesday, June 14th. All right, we'll take a quick look at the futures right now. Pretty much on the flat side. I believe Japan will open in a bit, and so futures flat for right now. And before I go on to the watch list, guys, if you see this subscribe button on your YouTube, if you can hit that for me. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. I'm up to 463, so I'm actually pretty happy about that. My goal is to try to get up to 500 for the week if possible. I know it's summertime, a lot of people are going away and whatnot, but please hit the subscribe button. That would be greatly appreciated. And we'll go ahead and get right into the watch list for tomorrow. And before I do that, before I forget, let me add this DRAM. See if that will do anything. And actually, we should take a quick look at the SPY. So for the SPY right now, it's pretty easy. Break of 242. I think bears are in charge, and then we can go down to the 20 SMA. And if we break the 20 SMA, right, next logical thing would somewhere on the 50 SMA. If we break back up above 244, to me that would mean the bulls are starting to take charge again. So it's a pretty tight range right now. We had 86 million shares traded on the SPY. All right, so we'll go ahead and get into the watch list. First one up is going to be ABIL, and we had a pop back here in the name. We got some volume today, almost 3 million shares in ABIL. Was being mentioned on social media, so I'll have this one on watch. It's a small chart, small stock. We'll see if we can get any kind of continuation move or setup on intraday. AKAM, Akamai Technologies. For me, I'm looking for a continuation move on this 49.70, 49.75 on AKAM, and then maybe we can take out this $50 spot. So I've been basing here all this time, and now we're looking for a move up through that $50 level. AKS gave a lot of traders a nice trade today, and maybe a continuation move tomorrow. 17.8 million shares. We had a high on the name of $6.60, so over that 660, maybe you get a continuation move. APTO coming up to the 200 SMA. So if you can find shares to short on APTO, and let me just and the 200 SMA is up at 132. So if you can find shares to short on the name, maybe it gets rejected by the 200 SMA. If it can clear out over the 200 SMA, like 135, you might get a continuation move on APTO. ASNA, would like to see the 250 break on this name. It has a high today, 245, so 250 might get this thing going. You see the volume, another 8 million shares came into the name today, and it's turning back up, trying to fill this gap here. So watch for that 250 break. CARA, C-A-R-A, it's been holding this 17 spot So, nobody's really in charge. It's kind of in consolidation right now, but I think if it can get back over, $18 a share, you might get a continuation move on CARA. CLF, this is part of the whole infrastructure deal going on right now. So we had touches of the 400 SMA here. We're trying to push up and out. We have the 50 SMA at 673. We have a high of 645, so maybe over 645 might be enough to get CLF going. Just be aware of that 50 SMA in the name. CLNT had some news after the bell, so it popped, and maybe this one will give us a continuation move tomorrow on CLNT. So it's not really about the daily chart. It's about this pop after hours on the 5-minute after hour chart on CLNT. CVRS, looking for the 150 break. You had the high of 149, 1.2 million shares. We are getting above this 400 SMA where we had failed before, failed previously here, but now we're above it. It's a bit extended, but maybe we get a pullback. But I'd keep this on watch, see if it can break out over that 150 level. DRAM we spoke about already. DVAX, looking for a continuation move through $8 a share. Closed right on the highs and had 2 million shares traded in DVAX bio name. So if it can crack that $8, there's some space here for a possible continuation move on DVAX. GILD, spoke about this one in yesterday's video, gave a nice pop on the name, over 10 million shares traded. So maybe this one is starting to heat up a little bit and maybe on, a turn to the upside. So GILD might be one to watch. GSAT, holding above the 50 SMA, holding $2. Looking for it to maybe get over that 20 SMA, which is 217. We closed 213. So maybe 218 is enough to get GSAT going. GTIX, big mover today, but we are coming up to the 400 moving average here. We had a high of 624. So if it pops up to, let's call it, the 650 spot, that might be a good area to short it. If you're not into shorting, looking for maybe red to green or some kind of setup intraday tomorrow, or for the next few days on GTXI. So interesting to the short side if it has resistance. And 650 is a natural resistance number, so you would think that it would stall out there, but a lot of volume came into the name today, so we'll see what that wants to do. IPI, looking for it to take out the high today, 238, closed at 231. You see it's in this consolidation here. A lot of topping candles though, so we'll see if it can break out over that 240 spot on IPI. There has been some buying in the fertilizer names, so maybe this one wants to go. If it can take out 240, 2.2 million shares traded in that name today. JMEI, nice pop, almost 2 million shares traded. Stopped right at the 20 SMA. This red line you see right there, declining 20 SMA. But if it can get over that 290, 295, possible continuation move. But it has a lot of work to do. All the moving averages are above the 50 moving average. Doesn't come into play until 324 on the 50 SMA. KERX, seeing if it can get over this 675, 1.5 million shares, got up to it, pulled back from it. So if this can get over 675, 678, maybe it gives a continuation move. I would think if it doesn't though, like fold, I think you'll get a pullback. Fold tried a lot of times to get over this, $9 spot, and then finally, the buyers gave up, so pulled back. So KERX, if it can't get over that 675, you might get the same reaction. But if it does break over it, 675, 678, you may get a continuation move. MGTI, just because of this consolidation here, capital investments, it's a financial stock. The volume is really low on this though, so possible swing trade though, if it can get out over $1.10 maybe, but just be aware you have the 200. So this is not a favorite, but just thought I'd point it out. MOSY, consolidating, pretty much looking for the $2 break, or for it to get over this 100 SMA, which is currently at, the 100 SMA is at 183. We closed at 149, so we have some space in between. If you can get back over 155, maybe you get some momentum to the upside, and then you'd want to clear $2, if it can break out over this congestion. Or you can just watch it and let it clear over the 100 SMA before you get involved. NK, nice volume today, 1.4 million. Broke out of this congestion. We have been talking about this one a few videos back. Finally broke out over it. So now we're looking for a continuation move through $5 and see if we can get a continuation up to maybe $5.50. Plug, nice consolidation, turning back up. It had a high today of 215. Previous high on the name was 217. So if it can clear 218, maybe we get over that 219 spot and then maybe through 225. So that's Plug. PLDP is Ballard Power. It's kind of in a consolidation too, but it's being rejected by this $3 level. So Plug right now looks like the better one in this space. So it is holding above these fast moving averages, and it had 7 million shares traded in the name today. So definitely one to keep on watch. PRTK, nice pop coming out of consolidation. This one we're looking for that $22 break on PRTK. So if we can get back over 22, maybe we get a continuation move in name. SAEX, this thing is an erratic trader, but it is starting to turn back up, and we have today's high of 425. We closed at 409. It can be spready. It's a low volume stock, only 89,000 shares traded. So not a favorite, but I did see it turning up. It's back above the 20 SMA, so it can give nice moves intraday. Volume can come in fast on this name, but not an easy one to trade. TROV was a big pop today. 6 million shares traded in the name, but it did give a lot of it back. We got as high as 120. Actually played this one today and got a nice move in it. If it can get back over 105, maybe you get a continuation move back up to the 120 area on TROV. So this would be an intraday setup on the play. X, I traded today. I put a video out on this name, how I traded it when it got over 20 or 21.95, 22 area. It gave a nice pop, but we did pull back. But now could be setting up for the same thing. If we can get back over 22.10, we may get a continuation move in X for the infrastructure plays. XOMA. Very low volume again, but for this, if it can break out over the high 710, or if you want to try it a little bit earlier over 705, just be aware it's a low volume, but it is breaking out of this consolidation, and it is getting above the 200 green line SMA here. So possible continuation in the name. It is kind of trending up, but it was very low volume today. Yelp, a lot of call sweeps in this name. So there was 3 million shares came in on the name. It's stuck under this 400 SMA, the purple solid line right here. But if it can get over $31, if it can clear some of this congestion, maybe we push up to the 50 SMA on Yelp. So it's a strong candle. So it's not an easy one to trade intraday. But it might give a nice trade. And let me see, it is up in after hours on Yelp. and broke above 3105. There's, like I said, a lot of call sweep action in this name, so this one might be one to watch. Let me see, what was the other one? I don't have it on my list. I was going to say Grub, but not really. And Groupon, nothing there really on Groupon. Pandora basically flopped today, right? There was a lot of takeover speculation, but I guess the speculation has run out. So that made new lows today on Pandora. UAA was one that I mentioned a few videos back, and a lot of people thanked me for this one. They got a really nice move in UAA. If you're swinging it right now, I would use that $20 as my stop on the name. We're coming up to the 150 SMA orange line, and if you're in the UAA, you still have a ways to go before you get up to the 150, which is about $24. So that one worked out nicely for the folks that took it, and that's about it. It was a pretty slow Monday. I got a couple of trades in. Here's the SPY once again. You see this congestion we're in. The Qs, the tech stocks have been the ones that have been pulling back, but the bears still have not broken this 50 SMA yet, so we're still above it. So it's still strong until the bears can break that 50 SMA. We held it back here, and we're getting bottoming tails here. So far the bears are unsuccessful in breaking that QQQ down. But the thing you do notice, major volume, 104 million shares traded today in the Qs, so that is huge volume. And IWM, let's just check some of these other things. Trying to get over that 142 spot. IWC, the micro caps, trying to get over the $89, $88 and change. And IBB, trying to break that 295 level. XBI, also trying to break that 72 level on the XBI. So that's going to do it. Oh, let me just check XLF for you guys. XLF stayed strong today, trying to get up over 2450. So not too much of a pullback in the banks today. And if you do play them, I saw some of these home builders. They're not on my watch list, but LEN is looking good. TOL, not looking too shabby as far as the daily goes. So if you're interested in some of these home builders, PHM, not a bad daily, and KBH. But if if they raise rates on a Wednesday, I would think the home builders would go down, right? So, I'm not sure how all this is going to play out. All right, this has been Zozo Stock Watch. Thank you very much for listening. Please hit the subscribe button. Greatly appreciate it right here. And thank you very much for listening. And if you could retweet my videos, that would also help. And have a great day.